tên bùng lục quá. Oh. Các bạn muốn nghe tiếng gió không? Nó lọc tốt quá, không nghe được không? Ok, hello xin chào và chào mọi người đã quay trở lại với buổi stream ngày hôm nay. Thì nhà tất nhiên lại là sự kiện mỏ neo, lại là sự kiện mỏ neo, lại cái gì đấy bác, lại Skibidi Toilet. Thì nói chung là hôm nay thì các bạn không cần phải nhìn thấy sự kinh dị đến từ không biết nào rồi, cái gì đến từ cái việc tôi đi khắp nơi và tôi bắt đầu tôi xem đi về cuộc sống của tôi đấy. Thì biết là tiếng nhỏ có không, không nghe thấy là có một cũng to phết nhỉ. Cái trên này thì chuyển lại cái nói chung là sự kiện cũng qua khá là kinh, cũng dần mở ra rất là nhiều thứ. Anh ho xịn sò, con bò phô mai, cười hè hè. Không biết tôi đang nói gì nữa. Người đen và bơ. Ok, đúng cái bể từ bây giờ tôi sẽ lần một situation. Bây giờ nói chuyện với con kia. Hội nhóm.
Now guess.
Well, look who it is.
Traveler, Paimon.
Looks like you're recovering nicely.
Thanks to everyone's support.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I managed to work up the courage to thank Miss Clorant.
Oh, how did she react?
She told me that it was nothing.
She didn't want to stress you out, that's all. She's...
Yeah.
Okay, but check this out. We went back to the opera house and we...
You met father? Did she say anything to you?
Không, chỉ nói target vào con Furina và
She said a few things that were... a bit hard to understand. And also that she's looking forward to working with us in the future.
và cái đấy nữa, ok.
Her attitude towards you is even better than what we'd imagined. You should believe her. She has her own way of doing things, and she'll do everything.
Father is very... Oh, Paimon just remembered that she thought Linny was a bit too proud as well.
That does sound like...
Hey!
Are you going to stay here for the next few days?
Không.
Looks like it, yeah.
What the... đúng rồi, mình vẫn chưa được bảo trợ ra 45 ngày.
Excellent. I will host a tea party. For real? Then Paimon wants another serving of cake.
Mẹ ăn và anh ăn đồ như thế này trong tù à?
Another implies that you were already served some delicious cake while you were up there. How lovely. Well, next time, you're going to have tea and snacks with us.
Sao nó biết? Đúng rồi, sao tôi lại hỏi, sao tôi ngu thế? Nó phải biết chứ. Nó là người sống ở đây mà, nó sống gần như cả đời của nó ở đây mà. Đời heo. Sao tôi qua đây? Gặp the Duke. Dưới đây và kia sao hết. UCH. Tôi tí gặp Corin. Một con cầm súng thứ hai trong cái gì. Và không phải anh em hội
You guys are back?
anh em kinh kế.
You guys didn't get caught and thrown back down here, right?
Oh.
No, not at all.
And here I thought you'd managed to escape from jail during all the commotion. I'd held you up as legendary jailbreakers, but now you're telling me you just never left?
We're sorry, but we just had some business to take care of.
Đúng rồi, tôi chỉ cũng chưa biết thôi, mà tôi bốc phét tao rằng nó đã trốn tù rồi không, rồi nó phải có chút việc này, nó phải quay lại đấy, kiểu quả đỉnh cao.
All right, there's no need to...
Hey, it wasn't just me.
Something. I was also transferred to work in the kitchen a few days ago. I can still hear Quisto mumbling to the carrots. Are those two all right? Do you think they made it out alive? Whenever he'd say that, I'd tell him I'm sure they're fine. Wherever they are, they're kicking back with drinks in hand, enjoying the lovely scenery.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with worrying about your prison pals. Is there? I mean, considering how they always love listening to all my gossip.
These two. They sure are a lot warmer and friendlier than when Paimon first met them.
Oh, well, if you say so. I'll be...
Ok, nói chung cũng có một số thông tin khá là ok. Hello, y tế.
Sejuin! Traveler! Paimon, you're back! Are you still doing alright? Did either of you get hurt?
Đau trong trái tim là một vết thương khi thiếu em. Yêu em.
We're
Gì
fine.
đó.
A few people sustained superficial injuries, but that's about the extent of the damage. Monsieur Nervulette paid us a visit. It was all of course. We must... How did Nervulette know that he was needed here?
Thần giao cách cảm, anh biết được quả tóc đấy có phải là quả ten không? Người ngoài hành tinh, các bạn nghĩ xem. Tức là người ngoài hành tinh như chúng ta kiểu tưởng tượng là đầu họ trọc, mắt họ to, vãi cứt, nhưng mà khi họ có quả anten, đầu anten các thứ để mà liên lạc từ xa họ mới biết được. Họ có quả xâm chiếm thế giới, bãi chủ thế giới.
Monsieur Nervulette has strong resonance with the hydro element. When the water level rises, I ran into the bombshell bros while bandaging the injuries of the wounded. They were mumbling the whole time. If you're not too pressed for time, please just let me know if you get a craving for any particular dish, so I can have Mr. Walsey get your meals. I'd like to take the opportunity to spend some more time observing your facial muscles as well. Your happy smiles are quite contagious, you know.
Nói chung là đây không phải đơn về cái situation mà cơ bản là chỉ là chia sẻ thông tin thôi. Nó cũng giống như thế mà. Ơ kìa, nó nói cái gì vậy? Loading. Rồi lại đi lower. À, ai?
Courier? Miss Sejuin told...
Yeah, I was working on something, so I forgot.
Okay.
That's no excuse for... Huh? What's you two?
Từ từ các bạn ơi, tôi thấy có quả skin trông khá ngon để tôi coi coi. Trông rất ngon nhưng mà tôi không mua đâu.
Junior, Lurvine, we're back!
Yeah.
Hello there. It's been quite the mess here recently. How have you been?
Ô, khá ổn.
Are you still taking the secret passageway?
Yep. That is still top secret, though. So don't say a word to anyone.
It can be a bit annoying when there are lots of people in the infirmary, but I still prefer taking that route over the one from the...
I mean, the infirmary does make it easier for you to slack off.
Oh, yeah? Then why are you also here so much?
You two really are just using your jobs as a cover for your relationship.
Not at all!
Ai mà biết được, có khi cãi nhau nó lại là như thế đấy mà hiểu không? Không làm đâu đấy. Anh trai ơi, đúng quá, anh trai ngầu đét luôn, đấy, xin được gì anh trai ngầu đét luôn.
To see me or imagine inmates come back after making it to the surface. Some strange winds blowing of late.
We wanted to see how the fortress is doing. Is everything still alright?
We're fine for the most part. Nervulette.
If that's the case, why don't you just ask him to stay here.
Oh, yeah, what a brilliant plan. Let's go convince the Udex himself to exchange the courts of Fontaine for a puddle of water in the middle of nowhere. He came here in a hurry and left without even stopping for a cup of tea. He did remember to take Miss Sijuin's gift with him, though.
Wow.
He sure sounds super busy.
Miss Cloran has left as well. She also took her gift from Miss Sijuin.
Were the gifts milkshakes?
Nervalette got the milkshake. Cloran received lipstick instead.
Huh?
Those aren't even remotely alike.
Well, it's Nervalette's own fault for making Sijuin worried about his health by working so much. But besides that, our head nurse is still pretty fond of picking out beauty products. Oh, and I have some gifts here for you as well.
Are these from Sijuin too?
Sao mà lại nghĩ như thế? Nó có thể là một quả tách trà trong bộ sưu tập ấm chén của nó.
Nope, they're from yours truly.
Tao có niềm tin đó. Ok. Chắc chỉ có mỗi Baymon mới đủ lạc quan để tin tao thôi.
You've already wrapped up your work at the fortress, so you can return to the surface at any time. You haven't yet served your full prison term, however, so you may continue to use your cell until your term is up.
Mày nói là tao vẫn phải vô tù và ngồi chờ cho đến khi thế kết thúc đúng không?
For real? Then we could stay here for a really long time?
You may access the cafeteria for free.
Ngon quá!
Just remember to come complete your paperwork once it's time for your release.
Ok, anh trai dễ làm gì cho anh trai hết cái cuộc đời này. Anh trai ngầu quá, anh trai ngầu quá. Tại sao nó lại chừa quả đấy? Nó có thể rất là bẩn. Return đồng nhà ăn. Tôi không biết dịch nó như thế nào, nhưng kiểu nó giống như nhà ăn, kiểu vậy. Tại vì bạn lấy cơm từ đấy ra nên nó gọi là nhà ăn. Không, nó không phải là nhà ăn. Nó là khu Mỹ, kiểu khu mà khu vào Mỹ. Sao tôi phải giải thích trong khi dân lên comment. Ngủ anh ơi, ta phải chấp hành án thôi, ăn đúng cái bánh 45 ngày.
We're back in our cell again. We're no longer prisoners though, so it really doesn't feel the same. Sure feels that way. But the truth is, we never did anything bad to begin with. Huh? How did you know? That's not true! Alright. Okay, Paimon just wanted to say that we really are an amazing duo after all. It's like, we've now gone to so many places together and become friends with so many people. There are so many bad things in the world, and we're just two people, but we've You're counting Paimon today? Aren't you the only adventurer here? Let's ask Catherine to give Paimon an adventurer handbook as well. Paimon will also be an adventurer from today forward. Geez, our thoughts making Paimon. The last time we fell asleep here, we woke up to a whole mess outside our cell. The primordial seawater nearly rose up. We should be safe now, right?
Yeah.
Alright then. Good night to you, traveler.
Good night bro. Tôi thích con này nó ôm vào cơ. Tại vì con này nó như quả gỗ bông ấy. Có thể ôm. quay quả boss mà tôi phải dành thời gian ra để giết khi nằm phi này. Rồi ngày hôm sau 8 đến 12 sinh blah blah blah.
Now for a little rest after breakfast. This is the life. Wait a sec. Isn't something important supposed to happen today?
Là gì? Không có gì đâu, con kia nó mới về đâu mà.
Oh, today's our big day! We're supposed to leave the Fortress of Mirapede! Come on, we've got to go complete the release procedures now!
Hả? Nó stack như thế á? Vậy đây là áp cuối rồi, đây phải là áp cuối thì nó mới speed như thế bạn ơi, chứ không thể nào là đây không thể nào là áp cuối được. Đó mà không phải là áp cuối, tôi nói thật, tôi sẽ nói thật. Ơi đến hạn rồi, em ra ngoài em ơi.
Please sign here. This document will be effective immediately upon signing.
It's been so long since we've been to the surface. Let's hurry up and...
What's happening?
Đâu, không biết rồi. Okay.
I'm fine, thanks. But I wonder what that tremor was just now.
Let's go ask the Duke.
Cái nó là gì? Đây cũng không có cần phải new life kinh. Hello anh trai. Vì vậy đồng chí ơi, tôi chấp hành mọi thứ tôi không biết. Chỉ sau một ngày phải quyết định. Cứ tệ ít tâm bình tẩy anh ta vẫn ngồi đây.
Good to see you two. Is there something you wish to see me about?
Yeah, what was with that earthquake just now?
That. The tremor didn't originate from the seafloor. In fact, it seems it came from the surface. Over the years of serving as the warden here, I've developed a sense for distinguishing between what occurs on the surface and what occurs underwater. Besides...
So, the fortress is okay?
If you recall our last incident, if there really were a problem, there would be crowds of inmates in a panic right now.
You've got a point. Okay. By the way, do you know what day it is today?
I believe today is this month's pipe cleaning day.
Wait, seriously?
Aha, yes.
Yep. It's you two. Are you leaving now?
Mày âm tường mày đi ra hả con? What the hell?
That's right. Today is our last day in prison. But now that Paimon says that, it doesn't feel like we were confined here. It's actually been pretty nice. Oh yeah, Paimon feels fond of it. Then be sure to come back and visit. I'll miss you.
If you've signed the release papers, then you're free to go. The guards will escort you out.
You're not going to see us off?
I knew you'd ask. All right, sure.
Vai, chân thật đúng rồi, đòi hỏi quá bạn ơi.
Well, you actually agreed. No.
So you do have a polite side, I see.
Okay.
After being down here for so long, I imagine you must feel like you're lacking companionship. Shall I come? Yeah, don't worry. We'll come back to see you. Paimon really likes the captain.
I hope you won't be here as convicts the next time I see you.
Okay.
It seems our work in the Fortress of Mirapede is finished. You're going to see Monsieur Nervulette?
I'm sure just your regard.
I believe.
You're right.
Mày đừng nói nữa, làm ơn, tao muốn ra khỏi tù lắm rồi. Yeah. Lôi mỗi khi tôi nhìn thấy bé Loli nào tôi cũng như thế. Ok nhá, ngoài đời là tôi bị bắt liền này. Thượng Hải. Ui, đi đến khu ủa sao tôi lên đúng rồi tôi phải không có cái gì. Rồi, cái khu này nằm đây nghĩa là quả thang máy này nó dẫn dài đến đây rồi. Biết rồi. Tại trong sự kiện này mà còn sức thì tôi nói thật chịu luôn đấy. Ấy à? Ôi rồi cái gì này?
The Palais Mermonia sure is buzzing with activity today.
Halt! Huh? Oh, it's you two. Apologies. Monsieur Neurvilette did say you'd be welcome at any time.
Excuse me. Would you mind helping me take a look at this report?
I'll be right there. Sorry, I've got my hands full here. You can see yourselves in.
Everyone's so busy. Seems a lot has been happening.
Tôi có thể nhìn thấy qua ánh mắt của họ.
Hello. You've come at the right time, but you'll have to wait for just a moment, as there are some urgent matters I must tend to first. In the meantime, please, have a seat. If you'd like to have something to drink, let the Melusine outside know.
That's all right. We just ate.
Okay.
Very well then.
Let's take a break over there while we wait for him to finish his work.
All right. That should wrap things up for now.
Are you done with your work?
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting.
Okay.
Today should be the day you were released from the fortress of Meripede. And it appears...
That's right, and we came here to see you right away.
A massive whale.
Do you have any idea what that might be?
Judging from your description, that cannot have occurred in any ordinary waters, but rather something like the primordial sea. A whale of that size and shape cannot usually be found in the waters of Tevat. Therefore, we can only assume that child is presently immersed in primordial seawater.
Immersed in primordial seawater? But how? And is he okay?
Boss, không biết.
Most people wouldn't be capable of entering in the first place. I'm not completely sure how he could have gotten there myself. Yes? What is it?
Ah, right! We asked the Duke and he said it wasn't...
It turns out that I have just received a report about this particular matter. In fact, that's exactly what I was busy with a moment ago. The source of the tremor was here on the surface near Poisson. After the shaking stopped, the water levels in the Poisson area rose at an alarming rate.
Wow.
The water levels rose? Oh no! What about all the people there?
Fortunately, the water levels only rose for a short period of time and have already returned to normal now. However, I still have a bad feeling if the change in water levels is connected with the leaking primordial seawater.
Navia should be in Poisson, right? We need to go check on her!
I would also like to go there as soon as possible, but I'm afraid I can't leave just yet. We must immediately formulate disaster prevention plan. I'll have to ask you two to go to Poisson first.
There's no time to lose! Let's get going!
Please be careful.
Ok. Vâng, rất nhiều. Đúng là anh trời. Quả quay lưng gì cũng khá hay. Đúng là không nên quay về cái nhân vật bởi vì cơ bản là nó sẽ không quan tâm. Cái thằng đó nó không nên quan tâm. Nó quan tâm đến cái gì vì nó tưởng đi rồi. Nên là nó không quan tâm lắm. Khá là chi tiết. Chỉ là đúng một khoản đấy thôi, nhưng mà có vài khoản thì đã lâu rồi không nhớ được. Vài khoản cần thì không cần, vài khoản không cần thì lại chi tiết. Là thì ở sau đây của quay coi.
Oh no! What happened here? Navia should be around here, right? We need to make sure she's still...
Ok. Navi ơi, cái hàng chi khu này không, tới lúc mà tôi tới đây không.
What's the hurry?
We haven't seen a single soul all the way here. Oh, this is getting scary.
What will I ever do now?
Look, there's someone...
Just stay put. We're coming up. Watch your balance.
All right, just hurry.
That's the victim. Em mờ giấu rồi.
I'm not young anymore. How will I survive on my own?
Oh, he looks pretty sad.
Bắt người thân.
My leg. How could this have happened? It hurts.
Just hang in there. Help is on the way. You can hold my hand if it makes you feel better.
Tôi có thể nói là gì trong trường hợp này? Còn nước không, còn nước dâng lên đột ngột, nó kinh lắm bạn ơi, các bạn chưa biết đâu. Vừa tôi qua, tôi đi về phía miền Trung ấy, tôi ở nhà dân, vào đấy lũ phạt vào nhà Pháp. Tôi đang ngủ dưới sàn mà nước phạt vô, mở mắt ra xung quanh một toàn nước. Quả đúng ghê luôn, nó lạnh nhá, nó lạnh vãi chưởng, không đùa đâu, vãi chưởng luôn. Nói chung là nó cực kỳ lạnh, và thực sự các bạn phải hiểu là tôi phải đánh đến tận 3-4 giờ sáng nó vẫn còn, sáng hôm sau nó vẫn còn, và nó còn ngọt hơn nữa, ngập lên đến cái nắp tủ luôn á. Luôn người dân người ta phải dẫn tôi lên mái nhà, rồi hôm sau đội cứu trợ đến bạn. Quả đấy kinh đấy, quả đấy lúc đấy tôi còn nhỏ, còn bé tí à. Qua nhà kiểu qua nhà bà con, kiểu bà con đấy chơi. Lần đầu tiên tôi biết là đi gọi là đi chống lũ như thế nào, không kinh không?
Hey, Navia, are you okay?
Thì dù tuyệt vời.
You're here.
We heard there was a situation in Poisson.
Yes. As you can see, the water level suddenly rose.
Demoiselle, there was a wounded resident next to a building southeast of here. We've already transported him to safety, but we've run out of medical supplies.
He's wounded? How badly?
He fell, so it's probably a broken leg. He's pretty shaken up. When the water level rose, he desperately climbed up to the roof. Once the water receded and he saw the ground, he became terrified and eventually...
He jumped down then. Find the leader of Squad 1 and tell him to take the wounded resident to see a doctor. He should know—
Understood. I'll take over his search and rescue mission.
All right. You'll... I'm sorry. Where were we?
The situation...
Right. A little earlier, we suddenly heard a loud noise. At first, everyone thought that the rushing water seemed a little odd, almost like the unique color of primordial seawater. Some people didn't realize the danger and thought everyone on the street who happened to be close to the water didn't have a chance to escape. as those who realized what was happening started to flee in a panic, desperately trying to get to higher ground. The Spina di Rosula initiated rescue operations as quickly as possible, but there have been a lot of casualties. Fortunately, the water that flooded the area contained primordial seawater, so the lower levels of Poisson are still hazardous. To ensure everyone's safe, no one knows if this could happen again. All we can do for now.
Oh, awful. And all of it.
It was quite frightening indeed. I only wish.
Is there any way we can help, Navia?
Thank you for being.
Don't say that, Navia. That's what friends are for.
Demoiselle, we've got a situation here.
Sorry, I need to go for now.
Vậy là hiểu là hai thằng kia tặng ở đấy.
And out she goes.
Okay, the wounded are being tended to, and we finished a preliminary head count. More support has just... Of course, we should remain ready for anything, and continue doing our best, Traveler. Paimon, would you two accompany me to my father's grave from...
Huh? Right now?
Okay.
Thank you.
Mẹ cho quả nhạc. Đúng thảm luôn nhưng mà nhạc đúng thảm. Nó quá thảm đi. Vẫn còn này. Đây tôi bật nhạc lực to lên cho mọi người.
Paimon coming in! Paimon coming in! Is this level okay? Can you hear Paimon?
Not a lot of people here, huh?
Well, given the time of day and the whole situation in Poisson, Paimon doesn't think there'd be a ton of people here visiting graves.
Right. That's how things are now. The living are so exhausted that they've no strength to spare any words for the dead.
Navia?
Cuối cùng có animation khóc.
Navia, what's wrong?
Sorry. I just... Malus and Silver. They won't ever come back here again. What should...
Huh? What happened to them?
Everyone agreed on the rescue plan, but still... I was the one who initiated it. They were helping evacuate the residents, but they couldn't leave in time. And they were caught in the seawater.
What should we do?
I've known them for so long. And I know they weren't afraid. But I could at least hold a funeral for my father. And I know where he rests. But as for Malus and Silver, they're just... gone. I just can't...
Everything looks so clean after it rains. Even the gravestones. I didn't expect that you'd enjoy a glass of red wine in front of Master Callus's grave.
I can understand. Besides, the scenery here isn't half bad.
See, it's not just me. I always want to bring something when I visit Papa. Perhaps we might even have a picnic. He wouldn't be angry, would he?
How could Master ever be upset with you, demoiselle? Yet the cemetery is the home of those who have passed, is it not? Everyone ends up here sooner or later, no matter who you are.
Buying yourself a plot in advance, are you?
No need yet. But when I do, I hope you'll let me be buried beside Master Callus, demoiselle.
Hey, stop joking around.
I'm quite serious. That way, it will save us both the trip to see each other whenever you visit your father's grave.
That makes sense. In that case, could I be buried on his other side?
After all, besides you, demoiselle, the two of us could certainly be considered Master's closest companions, no?
Personally, I believe we fill those shoes just fine.
Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? Seriously. All right. I'll remember your requests. But I'd really prefer not to talk about this stuff. And what do you mean by saving me a trip? I'd make the journey even if I had to visit you two somewhere else. I'd promised to let them rest in peace here. But here I am breaking that promise. I'm sorry for letting you see me in a mess like this. I don't usually cry, really.
Paimon doesn't know how to help you feel better. But, well, she understands how you feel.
I'd always thought I could make my wishes come true. But now that I think about it, that never solely relied on me. Many things can only be accomplished with someone else's help. Malus and Silver have helped me so much. But by contrast, I could do nothing. I'm so sorry.
You can spend as much time as you need here, Navia. We'll stay with you.
Thank you. By the way, you can have a look at this. It's a list of victims from the...
Obana... Khan... So... everyone else is...
It's okay. I know what you're thinking. And the overall outcome indicates that the cost...
Right! Malus and Silver were not the...
You're right. What you said just now was pretty
Oh!
Seems you've become more eloquent in the time since we last met.
The knave? What are you doing?
Is everything going well on your side?
Yes, my people are carrying out the mission according to your request. All the residents of Poisson have been evacuated, and we're preparing to relocate them to higher ground. As for these supplies, we have everything taken care of. There is no need to worry.
Thank you very much.
Wait, do you two know each other?
Con này là businessman mà nên tôi không hiểu.
We just met recently.
Business lady. Xin lỗi.
Usually, I would call this a coincidental encounter. That doesn't quite fit this time. Besides, it never even crossed. Thanks to the knave, Spina di Rosula received generous support from the Fatui, which allowed us to complete the
Mutual aid is essential to fostering positive developments. We were already in the area, in any case, so it was nothing.
Kiểu nó xuất hiện đúng giờ. Phải có ý định sao?
That said, I must say that you're a lot sharper than you let on. I'm sure you understand what I mean.
I apologize for all the ways in which I tested you previously. We've never worked with a Fatui before. My subordinates have reported that Fatui soldiers have been observing water levels and taking head counts in various locations. I hear that they've also prepared a large amount of emergency supplies.
This is nothing to brag about, nor do I intend to. It is simply the way of powerful organizations to act forcefully, whether they are doing good or ill. You've witnessed that firsthand, in any case. As I've told this traveler before, I know of the prophecy, and I intend to prevent the impending disaster. Lending your organization a hand was a natural first step in accomplishing that. As such, do not be troubled by this token of our sincerity. Perhaps one day, you'll also be able to help me in the same way.
Okay.
Without your help, there would have been many more casualties.
Furthermore, I sincerely regret what happened to Malus and Silver. I only wish that my people could have arrived a little earlier to prevent this from happening.
Don't say that. You and your subordinate. As Paimon said, Malus and Silver didn't choose. I've never liked hearing people put it that way. It's like
You're right. I'm sorry for your loss, Miss Navia. Water is life to Fontaine's people, and it also spells disaster. It's no wonder that people always say that prophecies represent fate.
So, you're one who will try to change fate then?
Okay.
Of course. That is why I'm going to Hotel Bouffe de Terre. I still have some things to take care of, and the children need my attention. By the way, Traveler, Paimon, one more thing.
Alright, then we'll just...
That is a clever and useful conversation technique, which I do like to use when necessary. But there's no need today. It would not hurt to have Miss Navia listening in. Traveler, I'm sure you remember that I said we could work together when we had the chance. You and I both know that there may be issues with the Primordial Sea. Previously, it was the fortress of Meripede's sluice gate, and this time it was the water levels in Poisson. These are both signals. Indeed. Allow me to share the latest intel I've received from the House of the Hearth's intelligence network with you. During some recent investigations, a child claimed to have discovered some ruins near Poisson. Judging by the dating of the ruins, they may be related to the prophecy and the coming crisis. The situation is becoming more urgent. My people initially came to prepare for ruin exploration. Unexpectedly, this disaster struck. And at present, we're all busy prioritizing the rescue.
So that's why the Fatui were already in Poisson.
I wanted to take the children along, but unfortunately, Linny, Lynette, and Fremine have all been dispatched to higher ground to assist affected residents. Linny told me that outside of the house, the person they trust most is you. Which is why I want to give you this task. The House of the Hearth's members see each other as family, but Linny, Lynette, and Fremine said that they also see you. Already understand how earnest.
Oh! That somehow made...
The intel
Got it!
Excuse me, but may I tag along?
You wish to join, Miss...
But are you sure you're up to exploring?
Well, I'm sad, yes. But there's no point
Rồi phải giả lắm.
I have no objections. What do you say, Trav? All right?
Không, thực ra thì con đấy nó cũng chả kiểu cái lần mẹ mình nó ngày xưa ấy tôi cứ nghĩ là phát tui sống bây giờ xấu cái đi thì bây giờ biết nhiều thứ quá, biết thế giới này nó trông như thế nào rồi nên là chẳng cần phải cố ra gì đâu. Thế giới này kiểu nó vạch ra cho rõ đường lối là cho tôi cái gì đấy, kiểu lúc đầu trẻ con cái thứ mà thực sự là chỉ có trẻ con mới nghĩ là tôi xấu thôi. Tôi thì nghĩ khác, chỉ muốn làm công việc của nó và biết được cái ý đồ sau nó là cái gì. Tốt hay xấu thì nó cũng chỉ là nhận định riêng của mỗi người, và với tôi thì nó không giết mình thì là ok lắm rồi. Thế là đừng đụng vào lợi ích cá nhân của tao.
So, are these the ruins the knave was talking about? Whoa, talk about old.
Kiểu nó đừng có đụng vào cái đống Primogen của tôi thì tôi có thể tha cho nó. Nếu như mà buộc phải giết nó vì Primogen thì cái này game bắt rồi, không thể nào.
They seem to be pretty ancient, all right.
Let's go in and have a look.
Just be careful.
Ok. Vui. What I need? Nothing hả? Nothing. Tại vì con Navia có thể đứng ngoài. Navia có thể đứng ngoài. Và nó có thể nằm ở trong đấy để mà chết. Thì tôi sẽ dùng con Navia và con này chỉ solo luôn. 4.
This moment will be frozen in time.
Prepare to be blown away!
Let it rain.
Mày
Dodge this. Freeze. Oh, so sorry.
Go, Fairy Bite.
không có một cơ hội để đánh lại luôn.
Windblade.
Mày béo. Ôi cụ mạnh quá rồi.
What? The floor here isn't safe.
Rồi. Quá. À. Bây giờ tôi thử task rồi tôi ra ngoài. Có thể người ta tính tới.
This place has also been contaminated by primordial seawater.
Yeah. And a lot of it, too. The Fontainian would most likely dissolve the moment they...
Right! You can't go down if there's primordial seawater. It's too dangerous and it won't be... don't get my wrong. We're not saying you're useless. It's just...
No, you're right. I can't do anything in this situation.
Go way back.
That complicates things.
In that case, do you want to wait for us here?
The water levels here are unstable, and there's a chance the water will rise. So, staying here, I'll go together with you. Perhaps we'll find the exit just...
All right.
Giờ mình không chạm được nữa.
Let's try climbing over from the side.
Rồi mày nhảy xuống bậc luôn con. Là rạc prof. Đây. But the door, please. My, this place is huge, man. What a huge. Ooh.
There's something wrong with this bridge! Run for it!
Oh no, she did, she did so, oh no.
Demoiselle?
Ah.
Huh?
Demoiselle, what are you doing here by yourself? Would you be standing here till dark if I hadn't come to get you?
Maybe she just wants some time to herself, Malus.
Hmm? Oh. Was I...
Yes, it would appear so.
I must be tired.
That's quite possible. However, you were the one that suggested we go out for a walk.
Oh, right. I nearly forgot. It must have slipped my mind when I dozed off. I haven't had a nap today yet. This is a familiar feeling, yet...
Is something the matter, Demoiselle?
Oh, no. I was just trying to recall...
Do you remember Mr. Giverny? He'd requested our help before with foreign merchants who had a debt dispute with him, and
We were headed to see how things were going with him at the...
Ah, right.
Oh, Miss Navia. Ah, Mr. Malus. And Mr. Silver, too.
How have you...
I've been great. Thanks to your help, those bothersome merchants finally realized that I wasn't the one they were looking for. Why, I wasn't even the They were knocking at my door day and night. Even my neighbor, Obina, was getting fed up with them.
Sometimes force is required.
That's right.
Oh, yes. One moment, I have it right here. Miss Navia, these are some flower seeds that I prepared. Please take them. I don't know what we would have...
Why, we can have as many pots as you'd like, demoiselle.
Tôi nghĩ là cái này, nước này nó sẽ khiến cho con này nó chìm trong cái ký ức của nó, và con này nó sẽ giữ được ký ức của nó vĩnh viễn, tức là nó giống như ký ức của nó vĩnh viễn cho đến khi nào được giải thoát. Và một khi nó giải thoát ra thì trong hình thù gì đấy nó là hình thù vô tận.
Perfect. In that case, we'll swap out some of the decorative plants for...
Very well.
Wait. Excuse me, madam. If I'm not mistaken, you're...
That's right. Is something wrong?
No, it's nothing. This is the first time we've ever met, but your name seemed familiar to me. I've heard this name before. And why are there so few people around here?
We must mind the time, Demoiselle. We still have important things to attend to today.
Huh? We do? Like...
Well, now, did you forget?
Miss Navia, here you are. I've been looking for you. Please, come to the Opera House. Your trial is about...
My trial? Wait, why would I need to go to the opera?
Yes, she's right, Demoiselle. It's just about time now, so we should get going.
All right then.
Con nào không bỏ qua cái treo đấy, tôi thề tôi bấm như cái máy luôn đấy. Đùa.
Look, it's Navia. She's here.
And her two attendants are with her. Goodness, everyone's finally here.
There sure are a lot of people here to see the trial. And they all seem to be oddly... Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen. Why are so many people here? And as for the judge... huh?
Please sit in the defendant's seat. Don't worry, Silver and I shall accompany you.
All right. But...
Typically, it wouldn't be allowed, but today is an exception.
Hey, what kind of place do they think this is?
Come on. Do they have any idea what they're doing?
Enough with the whispering! Could someone please tell me where Monsieur Nervalette is? And why I'm standing trial?
My dear Miss Navia, have you not yet realized what you've done? And as all here know, you, after you took over, not only you...
Wait a moment.
Yes, correct. We are one big family, all of us who are from Pois. Therefore, this fair and honorable court shall declare you guilty, and you shall stay here. You will be together with us forever.
Quả nước này cũng kinh thật.
Huh? What are you saying? Everything you have said is correct. I have indeed done a lot for my hometown, and I would be willing to be with you all, but...
Oh, well...
How wonderful! I know all these people. Why are they laughing?
I seem to remember now. Yes.
I just Just a moment. This isn't right!
Malus?
What was that, Mr. Malus? Our conclusion is very clear and unanimous. Let the court judge her now. She's guilty!
Stay here, Navia! You're one of us!
Demoiselle, don't admit guilt. This trial means to keep you here forever.
I wish to exercise my right to defend Our Lady. Mr.
She was born a free and independent spirit.
Her actions, please do not
Really? As an individual, you say? Don't forget, we are all Fontainians here. This is the nation of... Even if Miss Navia only voluntarily rendered her assistance, that doesn't change the fact that her beautiful soul must return to everyone. Water, everything is measured here in the nation of Hydro. And now I speak for everyone. Our opinion is consistent. Navia should stay. We...
And you would call this justice? Preposterous. You are merely jealous that Demoiselle still has a chance to exist as an individual. Have you forgotten how much you all once longed to become individuals? To become independent?
Do you mean to defy our justice?
Yeah.
If your justice is flawed, then why should we...
As you said, we can also have our own justice. Silver and I shall defend Demoiselle. And that is how we will enforce justice.
My head... It hurts.
Demoiselle!
Silver, it hurts. My head is spinning. All I can see is stars swirling in front of... I remember now. Everything that seemed odd, Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen, and Mr. Giverny and Mrs. Burnett, who we met earlier. Even Malus and Silver. I don't want to admit it, but they're all dead.
Don't be afraid, and don't admit guilt. We will protect you to the very end.
Absurd! Who are you to say that she cannot be judged? We are the majority, and in the nation of trials, the majority is absolute justice. We are the will of all. Don't let them escape! We shall keep Navia here with us!
Mr. Malus and Mr. Silver, must you be so stubborn? How could the two of you possibly hope to stand against the collective? Do not resist. This judgment is fair and just. Navia belongs to us.
Con tinh linh nước này quá kinh. Con tinh linh nước này nên ở Luye. Con tinh linh nước này quá kinh khủng.
After all that happened, she should not be left alone in Poisson.
Đây là lý do tại sao tôi phải nâng Barbara lên level kiểu Barbara C6 level 90. Này lý do tôi.
What are you saying? No more excuses.
She says we're jealous. Jealous? How could she possibly be an independent individual?
What's with these people?
Quả này tao chịu nha, không đánh được.
Who's jealous of her?
She belongs to us.
Miss Navia, she...
Silence.
That's...
Monsieur Neuvillette!
Such commotion is prohibited in the court. The accusations you just presented are nonsense and cannot constitute a proper trial. The court will adjourn for the rest of the day. In this, I shall hear no objections from any unauthorized party.
Our thanks, monsieur.
Please leave with me, Miss Navia, while there is still time.
But...
Go on now, demoiselle. This is your only chance to leave.
Malus.
My apologies. I couldn't resist making one little joke once I realized that this shall be...
Malus... Silver...
Quickly, you must come now.
Goodbye, demoiselle.
Farewell.
Thịt mẹ cuộc sống. Thằng Chi Lé nó phải ở đấy chứ.
No, wait! Just a second!
Navia?
You're awake. Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive.
It looks like you're all right.
Did all the sad feelings cause you to have a nightmare?
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. When I arrived, I found you falling toward the water. You were just about to be dissolved within, but
What is it?
I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only for a moment, perhaps even a fraction of a second, but they gave me the chance to retrieve you.
Tôi hiểu rồi. Đây là cái con tôi gặp ở Lý Duê ấy, nó chỉ là một nhân dạng thôi, nó là đại diện thôi. Còn những cái sẽ có cấp tỷ cái con như thế, tôi có khả năng triệu hồi không thì tôi không biết. Nhưng mà nó sẽ có cấp tỷ con như thế, và chỉ cần có nước thì nó sẽ xuất hiện.
Were it not for their intervention, I would not have been able to rescue you before your consciousness dissipated.
Wait, did you say Oceanids? You mean like what happened with Vache?
Perhaps those 2 Oceanids were the people you saw in your...
I always told them that they didn't have to protect me.
Please come with me.
Neverlet, are you okay?
Oh, I am quite all right. Perhaps there's something we could...
Why do you look so stiff all of a sudden? Oh, Paimon knows. You're the type who feels awkward when there's nothing to talk about, right?
I merely thought that we should give Navia some time to herself.
Huh? Why didn't you just say so then? Don't you think it's even more awkward?
I suppose so. Ah, Sigewinne. I hope all is well with her these days. Her work in the fortress of Meropide has not been too much for her, has it?
Tôi không chắc đâu, nó khá là quan tâm đến từng đứa. Ý ở đây là từng đứa. Hiểu không?
No way, don't worry. She's doing fine down there. She's an amazing head nurse.
I see. Well, that is good. I have always worried that Sigewinne would need a lot of time to understand the world of humanity, just as I...
Oh, and the Duke also says hi. Even though Sigewinne made him do that. He hopes that you haven't been overwhelmed by all that's happened lately.
Thank you. I have indeed been busy lately, and
He still doesn't know what to talk about. Let's chat about something else. So, Neverlet, you're probably...
Yes, of course.
Nó có thể bơi ấy. Yeah, tôi quên mất.
This isn't going anywhere. Let's try something else.
Yes, in fact. I had arranged to meet you in Poisson, but when I arrived, I discovered that the Fatui were helping the residents evacuate. Amid my astonishment, I ran into the knave, and we had a chat. She informed...
Yeah, we originally planned
I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting like that. I'm feeling much better now.
Không có gì cả.
I guess we should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neuvillette?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
Come on, tao chỉ nhá. Yeah. Tôi đánh người rất tao.
Dodge this!
Windblade!
This moment will be frozen in time.
Go, go, Berry Bunny! Be gone!
Để góp tường. Cái vấn đề của con này nó giỏi thôi, nó chỉ thông minh thôi chứ nó không có mạnh. Nó về mặt nó không có khỏe đâu. Ui dồi. nó chỉ lắc thôi. Tại sao tôi phải chơi quả Lara Croft thế này? Rồi để tối nay coi quả BH Gaming chơi lạc Croft. Tôi không nghĩ ra nhỉ. Thế thì rồi nào còn chưa? Ok. Lại đi. Ui, giống Lara Croft rồi. Rồi no way to go. Ui, cũng được hết, cũng mới. Lạc quá. Ủa sao lắc vậy? Con cầm đường lạc rồi ơi. Chiêu ở đấy thì sao mà chơi được.
Don't get frostbite. Freeze.
No one escapes my sights. Go, go, big.
Đấy điên quá. Không phải đấy điên rồi. Vào. Có sao ở cái nước? Tôi cũng không biết đó, tại sao nó lại có nước. Vãi quả chém đúng kinh ở đấy, kinh vãi trưởng luôn. Đấy nó quả combo nhỏ. Xong cái đợt này chắc xuyên được tiếng rồi. Ăn sớm ngủ sớm. Từ đi xong cái này về.
Looks like we've reached the end.
Okay.
This is the place. There should not be any other hidden spaces in the vicinity.
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Tôi không nghĩ đâu mày ơi, tôi nghĩ cái đường to vãi trưởng. Đầu những nhìn
we should just leave them be for now.
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate that should be in the first empty spot is...
And the surrounding walls also show signs of damage.
There's something written below. Let Paimon see. Reason dictates that this nation...
It feels like someone left these slates and these words here for a purpose. But does he mean that Fontaine should be destroyed?
That would fit the circumstances dictated by the prophecy, yes. Indeed, the slate's contents correspond to it. Take the second slate for...
There's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated. And there's a whole bunch of other people behind her doing the same. She's facing...
And is that Lady Farina in the third image? Did the Hydra...
And is that a ring of people around her?
The fourth image. I know this one. This exactly matches...
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne.
Oh.
More information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it, most likely due to us missing the first slate. I am very...
Don't blame yourself, Monsieur Nervalette. Deciphering ancient stones...
Ooh, Paimon's getting the chills just looking at these slates. This says that it's the history of the future, right?
I really...
Still... What?
That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the fourth, the waters drowning Fontaine, come before the third, where the Hydro Archon herself falls into the water?
Yet the order is reversed here.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the third image. That means that the person in the second image might be the previous Hydro Archon.
Egeria, then. I had never met her, but her appearance here does match the records. The previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the skies, as if confessing a sin.
Did she herself commit that sin? And also, I'm still wondering why these ancient stone slates are here at all. Judging from the...
But who would have created these slates and left these words here?
It seems that any further clues will have to come from Farina.
In that case, there's no time to lose.
Yeah, we better get somewhere safe for now.
Rồi. Chúng ta rời khỏi đây thôi. Lâu rồi tôi không thấy được cái quả cast đấy hiện lên đọc cái mồm thôi. Đến lúc mà đi story side thì nó đập nhiều. Story side nhiều lắm.
Let's split up here. I'm going to check on what's happening with the Spina.
You still...
Just head back to the Fleuve Cendre and have...
I'll depart as well. Thanks for your hard work today. Traveler, I will go talk to Farina tomorrow morning to ask about... I'm sure that you're concerned about this matter as well. If you have time, drop by my office. She has long been harboring secret.
All right, we'll leave it in your hands then.
I will be carefully considering my words tonight.
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house at the Fleuve Cendre is always open. All right.
Okay, let's go. Waiting. Oh.
We're finally back.
Welcome back. We've got a special menu.
Yay! And there's good food too. Navi, no, the boss is the best. Ooh, desserts. Nice. These are all Paimon's.
Quả này ngon thật, tôi không thể từ chối được.
Paimon's already starting to forget what happened today.
Oh, that voice. Is that who I think it is?
Cuốn nè. vậy? Rồi lâu rồi đấy.
It's you two. What are you doing in Fontaine?
Cũng hỏi mấy câu này mới đúng.
Seriously, nobody just uses a scry glass whenever they've got time to just see who they'll meet on the road.
Still, we didn't expect to see you here. Wait,
Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. I was just out for a stroll when I bumped into you. Quite unexpectedly, if I might add. Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because Magistus doesn't sound much like a Mondstadt surname?
yeah, let's go with that.
Ok.
Well, I used to have my own surname, which was, well, some other thing. Either way, the old hag told me when she took me as her disciple that there was nothing for it, really. She really is amazing at astrology, so I changed my name to what it is now according to her wishes. To my surprise, however, Magistus is not the name.
It isn't?
Nope. Although it is used by us in place of surnames, it generally just means great.
Ờ.
Wow! Imagine including a boast in your name. Wait, are you gonna have to put that into your genealogy as well?
I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well, if I were to take one. Astromancer, Barbalo...
Whoa, that's a long...
My name means Mona the Great Astrologist.
Thrice as great? That's so...
I know, right? That's just how she is. She used to call herself Magistus, actually, but when she took me in, she changed her name to Trismegistus.
Talk about excessive.
Magistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak.
Trời ơi.
But anyway, you're not Fontanian, are you, Mo?
Well, I was born in Mondstadt, yes. My parents migrated to Dorman Port, and I traveled with the old hag for a while, after which I...
Oh, that's a good thing then.
Speaking of that, I'm sure you're aware that a bunch of things... There's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes. Just a while back, the Steambird the invitation was sent quite early on. I don't think anyone expected...
What do you make of that prophecy, Mona? Just tell us what you...
What I can tell you is that I'm an astrologist. And that I'm afraid that this is not something that just anyone can do. But on the flip side...
A visionary?
Of course. The old hag could do it. And I'd bet there are others amongst those Hexenzirkel colleagues of hers who could do something are you sure? All right, I'll help you. It isn't often that I see you with such...
Thanks, Mona! You're amazing!
Oh, well, this is...
That's the greatest of astrology!
Indeed, indeed!
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about. If there's anything you need, do not...
Oh, whoops! Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well, I'll go tend to my own business now.
Okay.
And there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with the Spina guy giving us suspicious looks. Right, but we were able to recruit Mona's help, didn't we? Our Fontanian friends will thank us someday.
Lù quá rồi.
But it's time to get up, traveler. We agreed to go.
Rồi đi xem. Đẹp. Qua đây cũng không biết là cậu chịu, ở đây chịu. Chả biết đâu. Thà là thài là. Tôi không biết tôi nói gì, nếu mà có gì các bạn đừng chửi tôi. Mới stream có 1 tiếng mấy, quả này hơi cao rồi, tiếng mấy chắc hơi cao rồi. Tối coi quả stream có tu hơn 4 tiếng đồng hồ.
Monsieur Neuvillette and Lady Farina, they seem to have gotten in...
Stop.
Like I said, I've already explained everything.
Tao nói là trà sữa matcha chứ không phải là trà sữa đậu xanh. Yeah, tôi xin lỗi, tôi không nên làm.
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses between us. It is not my intention to offend you, but please tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
You mean there...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster, and I will not have it happen again. I will say this once more. You must tell me everything you know. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you know anything about those?
Tức là cơ bản là bọn này nó đã nói đến cái việc quan trọng này là trước đó là nó sẽ kiểu bò lai, sẽ đi vào vòng ngoài trước, đi vô. Lúc mà đi vô thì nó bắt đầu cãi nhau.
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know anything about that. But you found them in some ancient ruins, you say?
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 feature different images that seem to correlate to the prophecy.
The prophecy?
The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something. Do you...
I don't. I've never seen such slates.
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information regarding the previous Archon? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin. If you would know about it, it should be you.
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to tell you.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Ferina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the sly. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as well as do nothing following your inquiries. You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool. And yet, your behavior is very inconsistent.
So you've been watching me all this time, have you? I didn't think you were that type.
You...
Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually working to take care of it. There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead. Just trust in me, your Archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself to or not. It'll all turn out fine.
Fine. Bao nhiêu người chết? What the fuck?
That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter again. Oh, the opera's about to start. Toodles!
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling. She didn't seem in the...
Hey, yo, bro.
I assume you've been outside.
Oh, you noticed.
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep refusing to engage? Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. I fear that she will not reveal anything unless absolutely forced to. We may have to create a situation in which she will have no choice but to speak.
Oh? Like Like what?
đè nó vào góc tường, tạch luôn.
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have the Hydro Archon experience just such a scenario.
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions. How do we make sure that she won't just slip away at the first chance she gets?
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties, and then do what we can.
Bây giờ phải cho nó vào phiên tòa.
If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but we must prevent the prophecy from coming to pass. This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too precious, and so we must take a chance on this. But who will lend us their aid to do such a thing?
Master Hot cái con Naves.
That's everyone, huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural.
That's what family should do. Sit.
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me? No, I don't...
Then, how about you, good sir?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is in court.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. Wonderful, the spotlight at last. I guess I'll be
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Không phải như thế, mới nhiều tiền.
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has brought us together to discuss something. As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts together to create a series of traps.
Oh, how intriguing.
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand, and used on the spot. So, let's invite her to explain in detail. A round of applause, please.
Huh? Didn't you say that you would be facilitating this?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to...
I see.
He is glad that you consider him your boss. Do go on.
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Ý mày là tàn sát thì nếu như nó đồng nghĩa với hunting thì tao rất rành.
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger.
I've also gone diving to catch some fish before. Does that count?
Yeah.
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once played host to a group known as the Marechaussee Hunters. Though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left behind by the ancient dynasty of King Remus. Today, Fontaine's monster population has thinned greatly, so the hunters of a trap comprises of the following components: bait, a trigger, and a containment device. Sometime so, if we were to build a trap together, right now, what would you choose to build it with?
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits will see the bait and naturally enter the snare. Our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the best in the industry, so you can count on our techniques.
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates mentioned that you even performed some magic for the bawling children.
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime. I'm quite the multitasker if I do say so myself.
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable methods, Like placing bait in the water and waiting for the fish to come within reach.
Calm and steady. Exactly the kind of person.
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion, I'm sure.
Okay.
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small clockwork squirrels, mice, and such. I remember that you liked those.
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it. If they're realistic enough, animals of the same kind will follow them all the way.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have any related experience.
That makes sense. You usually solve problems directly, without the use of any such tricks. But I do have one more question for you, Monsieur. If we were to create a trap now, how would you design it?
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more gentle trap would be ideal.
Kind, as always. However, our intention doesn't necessarily change the containment device and the type of implement we need. If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for prey that must be captured and safely contained.
Wait, why is that?
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it. The line that divides life and death is often exceedingly thin.
So are we going...
Huh. We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves as hunters. It kinda works, but maybe it's still not the best metaphor.
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, then the hunting metaphor is actually quite accurate. But we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god, a being whose seat is an exalted throne.
Oh, so that's what's going on. Sounds very interesting.
Não, raças. Simulação. Olha. Uầy, căng ấy chứ nhỉ? Căng, không đùa đâu. Không, sự kiện này phải dài dài một tí nó mới hay. Ngắn quá, trời khinh. Ôi gì đâu, tía gái. Súng cú teo ạ. Đi ngủ.
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? Hyman didn't think that Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremen was, now that Paimon thinks of it. It's hard to say. After all, you're the most reliable person in the world. Did you just pour some tea? Then what's that? Hyman's never seen that cup before.
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining.
Who's that?
Aw, have you forgotten me already?
Wait, you are familiar. You're the voice we heard from the sky.
The voice from the sky, You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple. The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
What? Then is there any way we can stop it?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Tevat so easily be changed? So you've come. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, are the things that you shall see different from the fate that the gods perceive.
What is she talking about? It all sounds really impressive.
I believe that you understand, right? Some things are insignificant, but others you must ultimately. Fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part. This was good tea, by the way. Thank you for your hospitality. Well, that'll be...
A voice.
Yes.
Hey, it's you who's getting lazy, okay?
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter. Fine, just fine. Not all fun.
Did she have pink hair by any chance?
Why, yes. It was Charlotte. I'm in full support.
That's right!
Yes.
Tôi sẽ bỏ con đàn trang này.
Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god...
The Hex and Circle numbers are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times. She said that N's... but I've never met her.
Whoa.
Their abilities alone...
Well, it's not like Pine...
Yes, sure, perhaps it is... Traveling.
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down.
I see. I feel that same sense of desperation. I guess you could consider me someone who has... But even so, perhaps that's what N was trying to tell you. He did original...
Huh. You do have a point.
There, it was worth trying. I suppose that...
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler. Paimon said...
Let's go.
Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by.
Mình nên lựa chọn cái gì đó. Những viên gù chẳng hạn. Cháu ơi, sao có tận thế ở đây, đừng ngồi đây nữa nào.
Huh? Our names are written. Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Merripeak. My recent attempts to enter the fort thus did an Outlander friend. So while the fort journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet. Huh. Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we know she hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the... seriously? Well, fine.
Okay. Continue the work. Mệt quá rồi. Tôi ngủ lúc 12 giờ tôi cũng đã có sức nữa. Tôi rất thật. Đầu giờ này là đau đầu cái thứ. Không biết là nó đắt không? Là cái phu. Nói chưa?
Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried it, despite the tense situation we...
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all! Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia!
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Nervalette was right. You really can eat.
Wait, did he really say so?
That's right. Even he...
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and coffee.
Okay.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore? What would you think?
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but maybe the...
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No, still, even if there'd be no more cake tomorrow, that wouldn't keep me from having some... No, it's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call living, you know.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call...
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach us things about. She said that humans are. I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You two try.
And there she goes. All right, let's dig in. Paimon should.
Qua quả tính tiền đã cứt thật.
It's more delicious than last time, and the flavor gets even better with the sip of. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious food here.
Những quả trứng Mora ra Pháp thì lấy để chè luôn. Ai biết được nếu như cái quả đấy là nó cho là 16 16 slide mỗi ngày mà bán và giá nó cắt cổ.
Let's go look for shark.
Ôi là trời. Không quan tâm, nàng đi. À.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Ha! You've got some nerve! You just used us to make some quick Mora!
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some...
Really?
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon.
Well, Paimon knows your name.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden?
When Mona mentioned you, we thought it...
I see. It seems... So she mentioned me?
She said that you're a real nerd.
Nice. In which...
Huh? So your art...
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper. And...
Yeah. Are we even qualified enough?
Yeah.
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're...
Oh. In that case, we'll just chat when you have the time then?
Oh, so that's a yes? Splendid! Ooh, someone...
Wait, Charlotte. Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example...
Huh. That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, if you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist, first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And secondly, I wouldn't forsake my homeland that easily. From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. That sounds... Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully... And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get copies out to the various nations as soon as possible. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic. But I do love my job. But anyway, that's my answer.
Okay.
That's so nice. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we?
Và quả thấy mẹ dâng lên hít.
The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh? Hyman's been thinking. If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow. No, Hyman should ask, if you could choose, what would you like to do? We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about... You mean, still traveling?
Thế là không chết thôi.
Wait, isn't that what we've always been doing?
Tôi sẽ đi trên...
two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais...
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to look for you two before. Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the...
A riot?
Well, that said, I don't personally think it was that. Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting, they're loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an out.
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But
so what happened after that is Farina...
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of the Maréchaussée Phantom...
So, you mean...
That's right. The Maréchaussée has dispatched many people to search for her. That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god, after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could ordinary people do to her? Good.
Don't worry, this is more than enough to go on.
Oh, is that so? Well...
Oh.
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, she'll look for a place to wait out the heat. And, as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic, but she doesn't have a heart of stone. When Nervaleb, it would be hard for her to ignore being... Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip... Huh. Well, what do you think? Paimon, in that case...
Bé rồi à. Nhưng mà phạt của tội rồi không biết nữa. Lần trời.
This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find...
Cái lúc đầu cô này nó nhìn nó đẹp lắm, nhưng mà lúc sau nó nhìn điều như nó cứt.
That's Farina, right over there.
Cá chết.
She really is here all on her.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry. But what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. It's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects. Come to kneel and beg for...
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning was so... Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my enjoyment of the arts. They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Maréchaussée Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too. Of course not.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't they? That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch up with her!
Này Paimon mà chơi trốn tìm thì dễ phát hiện này. Rồi Được đuổi. Quả vết đằng sau hơi dài. Oh, so
This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Pine.
What is this place?
Hurry, they're almost here.
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
Thời gian là hiểu hơn. Nào nói cho tao nghe nào. Đây có còn cái không? Mày chỉ bay thôi.
I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
You're right. Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Neverlette's made some emergency plans, so...
Yeah, I hope you're right. That the people of Poisson, they've already... It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to... I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing, but all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time.
Và định mệnh của con này đúng không? Các bạn biết cái vấn đề của cái từ định mệnh nó là cái gì? Tức là nếu như cái định mệnh đấy nó không thể xảy ra khi mà bạn không thể chứng kiến được. Và đó là lý do tại sao con này nó có thể kamikaze và nó kiểu phát sát, hoặc là nó tổ chức nó không còn được. Có thể và đấy có thể xảy ra.
We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled. Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also for me to finally be free. Indeed, I've thought about giving up so many times. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just started to come true, and so many people have... But just now, it all became clear to me. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end. Well, that's enough for now. I got the... Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone. A witness.
Yeah, and if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you... If that's the... I...
Cái đi, tao bị lừa đi một con chó mày.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took. Do not forget, however, that I am Fosalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it. She just...
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Thì có vấn đề gì, chúa không là con người, một phát đạn vào đầu cũng chết thôi, ý nghĩa mẹ đâu. Nghĩ là chúa kiểu bắn đạn hồi sinh được xong quay lại là Buddha bạn, không có đâu. Bạn tin vào những điều đấy, trong khi thực sự thứ nó sẽ đơn giản hơn những điều như thế. Người phụ thuộc vào lòng tin của bạn thôi.
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of this?
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is...
Looking for excuses again!
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes.
Trời ơi, cái đi sao mẹ tôi đéo biết phần cái lô gì cả bây giờ. Tại vì con này nó không tham gia được vào cái này, nó thì muốn bảo vệ cũng không thể bảo vệ được. Tại sao? Thứ nhất, đúng Furina ghét thật, ghét thì ghét, nhưng mà gì, tội thì vẫn phải rạch ra cho rõ ràng. Chúa hay là gì cũng vậy, vẫn phải rạch rõ ràng, phải ranh giới, không có phải là như thế được, không thể.
You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I too am exceedingly disappointed in myself. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice!
Once again.
This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice! One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes.
tôi hiểu rồi, nghĩa là con này nó có hai nhân dạng, một là Vocaloid Bình Nha.
Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalor, will now begin!
Woohoo! Oh, now we're making history.
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent. Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question, just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straight.
Navia, the president of...
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean... the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontainian history.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Areneas. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome.
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Sao tao không biết cái gì vậy, mẹ nó đang lừa người chơi à?
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
Thank you.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
No.
Oh?
My mission.
Then I
Ôi.
suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too. Oh, let Paimon see. Wait. Then that means this document is a perfect timeline of So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence Let's quickly confirm the information. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right. The Fatui Harbinger. I didn't think this is the first time, Monsieur.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervy. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the action.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking our duty, but...
Charge accepted.
Đấy.
Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah. Even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned...
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on with...
Nói quá nhiều.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not and if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
That doesn't sound right.
Đó. Thì chỉ biết cái này thôi. Con này nói.
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, Perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Neverlet sensed it too, huh?
Lady Farina.
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them.
Well, don't start celebrating too. Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods.
Như đi trên nước, tao có thể chấp nhận.
For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused?
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
Bên cái con hay đào tao làm một quả mẹ vút dấp phát và thôi trên sa mạc thôi, nhưng mà chút cả chục con mắt thì vãi cứt.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium! Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives! Have you ever seen a more magnificent...
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone! Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar! I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved! Shouldn't Don't you want to believe in me?
Con muốn tin mẹ lắm.
Please? You've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Thế là không cho coi đấy.
She came up with yet another.
This is it. Không biết nữa. Không biết là cùng đi với Lết thì
That doesn't sound right.
đó. Cũng có đúng luôn.
It has been established that all Fontainians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my... So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of the seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admit...
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for...
If Lady Farina is indeed...
Chắc là không quá. Họ này tôi nhìn rồi.
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on? Is she really...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing...
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewin? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewin.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar water concentration.
Mẹ con này tới đường cùng luôn á. Cái đéo gì thế này.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved. Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Ép con này luôn rồi. Ép 100%.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could have...
I can't believe... You... Listen to me, everyone. Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks. What happened just now didn't prove a single thing.
You know cái đéo rồi.
Think about it. How can you conclusively prove? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water?
Mày.
Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Farina to win.
Đi mẹ mày chơi như thế thì có cặp mà nó win à.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
Cay lắm chứ.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is guilty.
Chó này nó ác được con đĩ ấy. Thôi rồi đây.
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal, Farina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, The exact wording of the verdict is thus: the Hydro Archon, guilty, to be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate this quickly?
Bọn này quá ngu, bọn này quá ngu, bọn này là lũ ngu, fucking stupid.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Farina sentenced, but now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! Oh, you finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took, but has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late? Oh no. Father will be
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
So what do you see? What is it?
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's... so when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates.
Làm thế để làm cái con mẹ gì nữa, nó chết đi mẹ rồi, what the fuck.
The first stone slate describes what you just... Does that mean that Fontainians... The second stone slate shows Celestia float... This must be the point when the third slate shows that... Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. People, they didn't believe that such a...
Perhaps with the truth and the original.
Nhanh đi, mệt quá.
We know from the...
What the fuck.
It's not as simple as stuff. Prophecy from the
primordial sea but won't cease to exist, their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the... The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson, and the eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meripede was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The stone slate's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together...
Right.
Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now, but then it feels like...
Let's hear them.
Incredible. We're...
All Fontainians were originally created by the late The evidence for that can be found in... and according to Navia...
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably anchored Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account...
The Hydro Archon's true sin?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twist.
Yeah! Isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with... When we were at the root, now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded with...
Well,
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanid's blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanid. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never... Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontaine.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct. A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials and Justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by... Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the Court of Justice. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to... In truth, everything we've done has happened
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass. However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before. This eruption is just a small warning of the things to come.
Không biết nữa.
It was both dream...
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the...
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause...
Là do con này à? Không.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it is. That whale does not belong to Tivat. It is a monster that it has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet. And once it is finished...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontainians. Not therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land first. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special... Anyway, now
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the Primordial Sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other...
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can. We've come...
Indeed.
I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied. Just as prophecies are usual. Ultimately.
Không hay bằng thì Blue đâu, đừng có tỏ ra hài hước, béo.
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Marina! No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe. She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me quite a colossal mess to clean up. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
Địt mẹ tao dài quá, mệt quá, muốn ngủ quá, muốn đéo cái này. Một hồi ba sẽ hang out nữa, và ba sẽ nọ để cho nó không đạn.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto the stage? All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. I am Dear audience, the performance performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Freeze!
Gotta dash.
Windblade!
Dodge this! Cool it! Oh, so sorry.
Hey, come on out.
Windblade!
Trời ơi, không lờ được thì có bất ngờ.
What gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards! Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Make my escape.
Don't get frostbite.
No one escapes by sight. Prepare to be blown away.
Hầu ghét này nó
Hey. Ninjutsu.
Dodge this!
Go, go,
mọi người quá.
Freeze!
Tôi sai lầm rồi. Rồi được rồi. Hello má mày.
Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me?
Be not nervous. Be not
Wait a moment. You're near me? Near me.
The prophecy.
What prophecy? The people. What's...
Tôi xin lỗi. Không thể chịu được cái drama này nữa, tôi quá mệt mỏi.
I suppose. Don't worry.
Play.
That's right. If you... Don't worry. Being a human, remember.
I'm still not sure I understand. So, how
to accomplish this mission, but...
the trial?
Đau rồi, what the fuck? Hello, the treat that day for me too. It's a treat day for me too. Tell me, what do you?
What should I say? I'm sure you've all heard. In truth, as the god Fustelor, once again, this... I thought I might...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses...
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen.
Wait, what's right? Calm down for me. Assertive.
Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet you may consider. Now then!
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were in...
Quite shocking. Such a fascinating and cool deity. How wonderful! Your may yet be right after all.
It seems I've turned them around. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer... The scales may law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the fires and drink to the future of No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to play. There is no trouble if so long as I...
Đấy, rất hợp thêm. Có bao nhiêu hồ? Cả giường ngủ giờ phải thức rồi.
Lady Farina.
Besides,
If
a maggot...
That's true,
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now.
Tiếp theo, hôm nay gần 2 giờ sáng rồi.
No need. All right.
He's...
Lạy chúa tôi. Cái này là nguyên một cái trial rất kiểu nó là nguyên một cái đoạn dài màu vàng cay.
Lady Farina.
I see. It's as I thought then. All manner. Really?
I'm...
The day is finally good. It's good to... Maybe this is...
Opera House, lại Opera.
Lady Farina, here are...
They'll...
Lady Farina.
Indeed, my...
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant...
Understood. I feel...
Lady Farina! I've heard that the first...
What is it, good citizen?
Are you crying?
Really now? I didn't... This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the So interminable. Hundreds of years. I never imagined. Reached I want to
rồi.
Farina, you don't have, although I don't know.
Sure, that's impossible.
But even if you're burdened,
Just ship a witness. And if Tevat is in its entire... She's right. But if they... No, Farina. But what if, Farina, is it such... If you let this think about it long and hard... No, I have nothing to say. I am all you need to do, dear spectator, is to...
fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done.
Mày
To
là con
deceive the heavenly principles, you must first deceive yourself.
you.
She did very well. If she had let her resolve fall, it seems that trusting
I believe that how would you be?
Good, good. Of course, the Eudex of Fontaine has I'm sure you...
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Linny did mention that he heard a hue. It now seems that that person was you. Hidden within the...
And then I became one with the oratories, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes. Alas, you're under... In truth, it is no...
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the oratories take down the god of justice, it will also take down the... My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate, but really, the vast majority has been, had to be, accumulated.
It was all a part of your plan then?
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, but... Oh,
So the oratrices... The destruction of that divine throne...
Returning what's rightfully yours. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the high...
But...
Oh, what? Getting sad again, are we? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon...
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite... Hydro Dragon, Hydro Dragon. I must say, had it been within my right, Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. And that speaking of justice, I have always believed that just so, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontainians as humans and their right to exist in this world, in other words, defying the prophecy and at this point, we, Eudex Neuvillette, the high...
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Eudex, I see now that that was your idea too. At last, I now understand that in the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries, you are a devious one, Fusalo. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervilette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Ra mày cũng phải làm điều đấy.
I, Eudex Nervilette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
Tôi thể giải thích cho các bạn những gì đang xảy ra ở đây và tôi nghĩ là nó gần xong cái quest này nó phải tinh 10 phát là tôi xong.
Was that right? But since we're all still alive and haven't...
It's time to end this.
Didn't you say just a moment ago?
I have gained the strength sufficient to we should seize the opportunity to pursue our traveler. Now that the oratory's the root of the come with me, traveler.
Mày cho tao xét từ từ, cho tao xét tim mày ui con chó mày gì mà đều xét tim này cho con cá cào. Mày đều xét tim không có đánh được đâu, con đánh trâu con chó mày đánh luôn là nó sao? Ai lồn. Từ. Thôi khoan từ từ. Ok, bây giờ TB ra ngoài sẽ đi cái gì thì lần để đánh tiêu con đấy được thì nó như này. Đang là 1:30 sáng rồi thì để vẫn review như thế nào ấy. Thì nói chung là như này, con Purina là hình dạng, nghĩa là nó có hai cá thể trong cơ thể của nó, và trong đó có cả Kolos. Thì Kolos nhờ con Purina này diễn một cái vở kịch là cũng như thay thế nó đấy, để mà dẫn đến kế hoạch như ngày hôm nay là nó sẽ bị chết. Và nó chết là để làm gì? Để nó giải thoát khỏi cái sự ràng buộc bởi phết cái đéo ở đấy, và cũng như là nó hiểu, đấy là tôi hiểu đấy là sự ích kỷ, nhưng cái sự ích kỷ đó nó được trao trả lại cho cái con này, và con này nó được chấp thuận, nó đã chịu được cái sự đau khổ đấy rất là lâu. Nó cô đơn thì có thể là các bạn nghĩ rằng là sự cô đơn nó không phải là cái gì đấy nó dễ dàng và phức tạp, nhưng mà không ai có thể hiểu được sự cô đơn là gì, cũng không ai có thể hiểu được cái sự phản bội với những gì mà mình đã làm, không ai hiểu được đâu. Đấy, ngay cả khi đó là những gì mình đã làm hơn 500 năm, nếu như mà con đấy dính quả đấy luôn ấy, thì tôi nghĩ là nó quá thảm cho một, nói chung cho một con người, cho một vị thần, sự quá thảm. Nhưng mà rất may thì ok, đấy là con đấy nó được tha execution, nhưng mà khi mà nó chặt xuống dưới ấy, thì các bạn thấy là tuy là biến mất nhưng thực chất đó chỉ là trong giấc mơ thôi, là cái mà kiểu trong cái gọi là giống như giấc mơ, cái thế giới của con Focalor kiểu vậy. Thì cái đây là một cái hay đỉnh mà làm pha điên quá, ép con nhỏ đường cùng nó có thể chịu được luôn. Tôi nhìn được đéo nhiều luôn, ác là ác vừa thôi, hiểu chưa, sống một tí chứ. Thực sự nếu mà muốn ấy, thì có rất nhiều cách để mà ép, chứ không thể nào chỉ có cách là ép lên trên đấy thôi. Còn đấy quá khó, còn đấy quá ngu, đơn giản là thế. Cơ bản là nếu như bạn đã nhận định được vị thần đấy là con người rồi, thì bạn phải thực sự khiến cho họ tuyệt vọng nhất. Bởi vì khi họ tuyệt vọng nhất, thứ họ sẽ nói ra chỉ duy nhất một câu, đó là bị sự thật ở dấu kín. Và đúng như là con này nó sẽ nói ở trong cái trường hợp đấy, là nó nói lên sự thật, bởi vì con Focalors nó đã nói ra cái điều đấy khiến cho con này tuyệt vọng thôi, nhưng mà thực chất là gì, con đó nó sẽ nói sự thật. Vì khi con người đến bước đường cùng rồi, họ cũng chẳng có gì để mất cả, chẳng có gì để mất cả, thế nên là họ sẵn sàng làm tất cả mọi thứ để cứu vớt được một số này. Đây là tất cả những gì mà mình có thể nhận thấy được ở trong app này, là một app hay. Cinematic tất cả mọi thứ đều không hay bằng app hay của Simu thôi, nhưng mà này là một quả app mà quá drama, quá super, quá tệ. Đó là quả Shimiru với Inazuma cộng lại lên 3 lên 4 lên, còn chưa bằng một phần của nó, quá tệ. Nói chung là do đấy đi qua được hết, và chúng ta đã biết rằng điều là Umena có tội, cô ấy chỉ cố gắng để hoàn thành để giúp một vị thần thôi, và đấy là điều tốt, và đấy xứng đáng được sống sót. Xin chào mọi người trong buổi stream sau. Goodbye.